Our 1988 Chevrolet C20, big block 454, turbo 400 transmission. We are doing a four-wheel drive conversion on this. So over there on the ground, I have a NP205 transfer case. It's a divorce transfer case. That way I can put it in right behind the turbo 400. It has a Super Duty front axle from a 2005 Super Duty, a lot like my daily driver. So it has the radius arm setup. We have the Fabtech 4-inch coilover. The front coilover shock hoops, I basically have them a little bit more than tacked in position, so as I could have got it at ride height and just do some test fitting. I'm not ready to talk about all the work that we have to do with it yet, so we are going to skip the front end for now, and we are going to talk about everything we've done on the backside. So the videos I have now is a progression of the work we've done from the cab rearward over to the back end here. This is where we've been spending most of this week. So starting here, 4 inches cut out. Let's see if I get my finger. 4 inches cut out of here. Plated on the top, plated in the middle, plated on the bottom. The shackle hangers moved back 3 inches because these are the two-wheel drive hangers, and it had the shackle angle at a horrible position. So this bolt here was like here, so the shackle was actually leaning forward. And then for the rear shocks, we cut a hole in the frame, slid this tube all the way through, capped the ends. That is a 2.5 inch square tubing, 1/4 inch wall. It's going to go down and connect to these. What else have we done here? Cut off probably about 8 inches on the end of this frame. Cut off about 8 inches right there. And then after I cut that, I inserted this 4-inch square tubing, 1/4 inch wall. What else have we done that's worth mentioning? Oh, I welded up all the holes in the frame. There's a ton of little holes, made it look like Swiss cheese. I'm gonna grind them smooth on the outside and paint over them, but I'm not gonna bother doing that on the inside. Speaking of the inside, right here is the Crossmember. It was, or is currently, I guess it still is in bad shape today. Here it is. We're going to take it apart, clean it, repaint it, put some rust converter on it, of course, before we paint it. And then we're going to put it back in here. 7/16 bolts are what we're using to move everything back. They just happen to be very close to the same size as the rivet holes. We just have to room them out just a little bit to get the 7/16 bolts back in. These are Rough Country 4-inch springs, off-road design shackle flip kit. The shackles themselves are just from LMC. So I tore apart the rear section of the frame, took all the brackets off, took all the hangers off. I want to grind it smooth, put some rust converter down, and then paint it. I'm using a Rust-Oleum industrial paint for the frame. The frame is painted from the tape line back. It's painted. We used a Rust-Oleum, just an industrial grade Rust-Oleum paint that I got from Home Depot. And I mixed it with acetone 3:1, and I sprayed it from a very cheap Harbor Freight spray gun. It almost looks powder coated. It has a high shine. Even sprayed the differential. It it looks wet still. It has such a high shine, but it's completely dry. Everyone talks about being nickel and dime to death whenever you're working on a project, and I wanted to take out this cross member just to clean it out and get rid of the rust that was on it. And something that I didn't anticipate is that this cross member, in order to put it back in, it took 24 7/16 bolts. It was riveted into the frame, and in order for me to get it out and clean it properly, I had to cut all those rivets out. We got the springs painted, reinstalled, shackle hangers repainted, installed with 7/16 bolts also. That is my coffee cup with plastic container on it to keep the bugs out, because I'm working underneath this large live oak tree. Shade tree mechanic, some people would say. Even though I have a shop, I just don't work in it. And the rear end assembly is nearly complete. The shocks are going to be taken out, rebuilt, and repainted. We want them to be silver and black, not silver and blue. The disc brakes installed. Not that easy, considering you have to pull the whole hub. You have to pull the axle shaft also. Pull the axle shaft, pull the hub. This is at full droop. All tightened up. Plenty of clearance between the hose and the shock.